But you're recording on your end, right?
Yes, sir. Been
Perfect.
recording.
Awesome. Okay. Sweet.
Is that the new one microphone?
Yeah.
How do you like that one?
It's not bad.
You sound a lot more clearer.
Do I?
Yeah.
I think that's what I've noticed about it. This one's a lot clearer. There isn't as much bass,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean you could always add it at the end, but yours is here.
Yay. That one is very crisp sounding.
Yeah, it's like it's a broadcast microphone. Like the other one, that the pod mic is like a very podcast focused, but this one is like a broadcasting microphone, and it's supposed to match the $400 microphone that I sent you. It
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to like match it, but be close to it. I mean, it's like half the price, so
Nice.
yeah. I think I know how I want to get this started, but I think we'll just go with it. I think this is going to be one of those episodes that like are one of our let's wing it episodes, because I didn't write too much or if anything down. So
Yeah. I mean, this one's just from experience and how you live life.
exactly. So I think we should be okay. We should be okay.
I think we'll be good.
All right. Okay. It's been a while. Hello and welcome to another episode of Up Until Now. My name is JD,
Mine is Andrew.
and I want to thank you for taking another listen to our podcast. And I'm thinking this podcast episode will probably be released after our Black Lives Matter episode. We decided to put that episode out first before all these other episodes that Andrew and I have been working on behind the scenes. So this episode, we wanted to talk about more along the lines of our bio. A lot of the stuff that we learned about adulting and adult life, we didn't learn in school. So there are two different things that we kind of talked about in the way that we learn these things. And one of them is being guided by parents and other like authority figures on how to do things, but also things that you've learned by yourself. And I think Andrew and we had a very different way of growing up and learning these adult life things. I think Andrew has been closer to the raising yourself faction of that learning experience, and I was more closer to being guided. And we just wanted to talk about what that means and how it has affected our way of viewing the world. And it's actually pretty different. And I'm pretty excited about talking about it today.
Yeah, me too. Because you guys get to realize how stupid I actually was until I started learning all this crap about life.
Yeah, and it's not even just like you being stupid, it's just like
I was very sheltered.
I don't even think it's sheltered either. It's like for you, it was learning by trial and error.
Trial and failure.
Trial and failure. I mean, I guess that's a way of putting it. But yeah, like trial and error, I think is like the way that you learned a lot, if not all of your adult life lessons. Is that right?
That's 100% correct.
So like can you speak to that and like what that meant and how that you feel like it either helped your life or hurt it a little bit, or what do you think?
Well, I mean, I've mentioned it before in our earlier episodes that like my parents weren't around when my brother and I were kids. My dad we lived in Illinois, the suburbs of Chicago, and my dad worked in Indiana always for some reason, and my mom worked in Chicago in the city, and they were both about an hour drive away. And they had those typical hours, 9 to 5, but my dad was 9 to 7 because his was a personal business, so he wanted to stay open a little bit longer. But we went to school, we learned the little bullshit that we did, and we came home, and no one was there to pretty much guide us in life. Me and my brother, we just did our own things every day. As soon as we got home from school, we got dropped off from the bus. We ate like a quick snack and we were out. We were both out of the house constantly all day, every day, just hanging out with friends and, street smarts. we learned the little we did as children, And when we got older, luckily, I had a brother who branched out of the family very early on. He had a kid when he was 20, so life sort of smacked him in the face and said, "You have to be grown up."
Nothing like a kid to say that to you, huh?
Right.
Grow up.
And I got to learn from his mistakes. I'm not saying that his life choices were mistakes or anything, but like the things that he didn't know and like the trials and errors that he went through, he he taught me what not to do and he taught me what to do. I don't know. My brother's done a lot. He's been in construction. He's in the military. He has a family. He tells me every once in a while, like, what are tools? Like I don't know tools that well. Like I work in maintenance at my work, and they never ask me to grab anything because they know I don't know anything. I remember someone like we were like fixing like a weed eater, and they were like, "Hey, can you grab that?" I was like, "What?" I'm like, "What the fuck what's a socket?" I'm like, I don't know. I would have grabbed him a fucking wrench, but like there's like my brother who taught me a lot. Then there's the people at work who I'm very grateful for that taught me a lot about being an adult, especially because they're very the different life stages me and they are in. Wow, English is hard. That we are in compared to one another, and they taught me about finances. They talked to me about a budget, like how important it is to have that being someone my age living alone, what it's like, and then luckily, the people I work with are amazing people and they're always willing to help out. But other than that, it's just, I mean, I still don't know a lot. I'm still learning every day or like about little things. And I, I think I'm very sheltered in a lot of the adult world, you know, things that happen.
Yeah, and that's definitely nothing to be ashamed of. I think I'm even in that space as well where yes, I think I had more guidance and more overall advice from like people, like specifically my parents. They were always there. I mean, they were there to answer questions. And on top of that, I think there was less of a language barrier between my parents and, myself compared to you and your parents, Andrew.
Yeah, like my parents, like I said, they don't speak English. Like the very little that they do, they can't hold like a full on conversation like we're doing right now.
Yeah, and I think on top of that, like your Korean is good, your Korean is great, but you can't ask like those crazy complicated questions and you can't understand like the complicated answers that are given to you because of those complicated questions.
That has to go along the lines because of the way how I think, because I was raised in America and they were raised in Korea, like the cultural differences of what they know and how they grew up compared to how I'm growing up. And I think that's a huge barrier too, only because, like they're very, they're boomers. They and that's all I have to say. They're boomers. Fuck.
Makes a lot of they're Korean boomers, which in
They're
our
Korean
heads
boomers.
are just like it makes so much sense. And
Yeah.
I think with my parents, I got lucky because my parents are kind of were in the same situation as you are in now. My parents had to learn everything by themselves. They had to like figure out the United States government system and they need to be translators to their parents, but they didn't want to put that kind of burden on us. So they took the initiative in learning both Korean English and learning the system so that they would be able to teach both their parents and their kids. And I've been blessed in that where I had that opportunity and I've learned some of the mistakes that my parents have made. But this doesn't mean that my parents sheltered me and taught me everything. Andrew and my mom are also very close. Andrew calls my mom mother as well.
Yes.
So he knows when I say this, but my mother lets me make my own mistakes and and she lets me learn from them. She knows that not everything can be taught, not everything she can't guide my hand and hold my hand through everything. She knows that she has to step back and let me make my own mistakes so that I can grow and become a better adult. And that's very prevalent when I talk about me moving to Georgia for a year. Like my mom knew it was a bad idea. I did not. Clearly, I did not because I went anyway. But her allowing me and letting go and letting me make that mistake and seeing what my choices affected and how they affected my life, it was a very, very hard lesson learned, but it was a very well lesson learned.
But like it's funny thinking about it because my parents kind of knew that me going to where I live alone, I'm on my own, and my parents just knew it was a bad idea too. But like they didn't let me do it because like they knew it was like a bad idea. I want him to learn. They let me do it because they thought like, oh, we can't convince him otherwise. So he's been doing his own thing this whole time anyway. So let's just good luck.
It's like one of those mama birds that kick the baby birds out of the nest, be like, fuck it, go fly.
All right, good luck.
I think I had a good mix of it. I had a good mix of like raising myself and learning and taking time to learn what things work best for me. But I think on the other hand, I had the luxury of being able to ask my parents questions and ask some very, very complex questions, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I crave that. I wish I can do that with my parents. That's why, like, I mean, every once in a while, like once in a blue moon, it's been a while since I called your mom, but like I'll call mom and I'll ask her for advice, and she's always there for me.
Yeah, and I think that's also where my mom has kind of like a soft spot for kids like that because she was in that same exact situation where she couldn't really go to her parents for things because of a language barrier that was there. And a lot of the generational things are different. Like you said before, Korea and the United States is very different. Even like the hierarchy of just who's popular and who's like powerful is very different.
Oh yeah,
You know, Korea, it's all about like the business CEOs that have all the money and power, but I feel like
and age.
in age, but I feel like here in the US it's more about fame and popularity and maybe some of the business people behind the scenes, but we don't know that. So I think it's very different and being able to distinguish the difference between the two and like teach the younger generations on what to do. I think that's the gift that my parents and even you have on like students that are or like not students but like kids that are in that kind of situation.
I mean, yeah, that's why I try like not guiding, but like I want to be there for my nephews, and I'll be there for my kids because I don't want them to go through what I had to go through. I'm not saying it was like, the end of the world what I had to do, like, translate for my parents, raise myself, make myself dinner, not have any affection for love. But like I don't want to be the parents that my parents were to me for my kids or my nephews. I want to, always be there for them. I want to go to their sport events. I want to be the parent that they can come to for advice and I can help them. Like if it's something I can help them with. But I want to do things differently when it comes to my family.
I mean, yeah, I think I don't know, man. Like I feel like there's a mix. I think for me, when it comes to like my future family, like I want to do a lot of the things that my parents have done because I think like we said, like I've said before in the past, oh my god, holy shit.
Sometimes I'll start a sentence and I don't even know where it's going. I just hope I find it along the way.
Jesus, English is hard today. You know, there are things that my parents have done for me that I would like to do and pass down to my future kids, but there's also a lot of different things that like my parents were still stuck in that like first generation Korean mindset. Like, for example, I know this isn't a popular opinion, but college sometimes it doesn't matter
Oh,
for a
yeah,
certain
definitely. Oh,
individual.
fuck it.
You know, like our parents are always about like if you go to college, you get a good job, and you have a good life. To an extent, that's true. For some people, it's true. But I think there's a lot of people, especially if you look at like there's a I saw a study, right, that was done. And you know how like when we were kids that we wanted to be astronauts, firefighters, doctors, we wanted to be like all these, like quote unquote normal occupations. I heard that a lot of kids nowadays, they want to be YouTube content creators. And that's what they want to do with for their job.
Who wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah, exactly. So like you don't need a degree to run a YouTube channel. You just need to
Right.
know, how to work a camera that can be learned on YouTube. Like you don't need the college education to be successful nowadays. Just as long as you find your niche group and you do it well and you're able to market and brand yourself well, then there's like you can do whatever you want. And I think my parents didn't understand that and they always pushed for college, but in my head I'm like I don't really want to do anything. You know? I guess the only thing that college blessed me with was finding one of my hobbies, which is photography. And I feel like if I was able to hone in on my skills a little bit earlier and really understand that I could use this and use this as a career and make money in the future, I would have taken it very, very differently than I did.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I always thought that I had to first get a good job and then I can be a photographer. But that's not the case. And I feel like I missed out a little bit. And I think the fire that I had that said that I wanted to be a full-time travel photographer is kind of gone. And like I feel like that window is closing a little bit. Like it's not closed, it's not close to being closed, but I think it's closing and I'm scared that it's gonna close, you know?
Mm, I don't think it would close for you. Only because you're so good at it.
Oh well thank you.
Like not even trying to like put you up on a stool or anything. Like I genuinely think I was talking to Ashley earlier yesterday when we were at IKEA and we went through like the painting aisle
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh, I want some painting for our new place." I was like, "We're not gonna buy it here. We're gonna buy it from JD. What the fuck?" Like, and then she's like, "Oh, you're right. He did have some nice one. We should ask him where he got it from." I was like, "He fucking took them." Like, what the
oh,
fuck?
oh, like the hanging up prints and stuff? Yeah,
Yeah,
those are all mine.
yeah. I was like, well, if you like it, why don't we just fucking support our friend and buy his? And I mean, that's where we're gonna go. I'm just gonna get your website and just buy a painting from you.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're good enough to make money off of it. I don't think your passion and fire is gonna go away.
I think it's like one of those like roller coaster lulls. I'm just kind of like, it's whatever. I'll get to it eventually, kind of things.
It's because podcast right now is at the high right now for you.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
So we're gonna have to figure out one day when we get big, we're gonna mix the both of them, mix the two.
I don't know how we're gonna mix the two, but actually, I was thinking, kind of going off on a tangent. Is I've been kind of wanting to build my own desk from like scratch.
Like a desk.
Yeah, like a table, like
Oh,
building it out
okay.
of wood. And I was looking at woodworking videos on YouTube. I'm like, I could do this. This looks like fun. So maybe when I get my own house and my own garage, I can make it into a woodworking shop and I can make tables and shit.
A workshop.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And the only reason why I wanted a new desk is because my desk isn't deep enough to fit keyboard, iPad, and this button thing for our podcast, So
See, like I wanted a custom desk like that too for like my gaming PC. Like like the desk comes with like USB ports installed into it and all that stuff. So if you ever get into it, I'll be going to you for some with them with God Jesus Christ.
Sometimes I'll start a sentence, and I don't even know where it's going. I just hope I find it along the way.
Yo, talking is hard today.
I don't know. I think it's because it's Sunday. It's supposed to be a lazy day.
Jesus, I'll be coming to you with some custom designs.
Yeah, and then I think that'd be like cool. Even like again, future we can build it together, and that'd be a lot of fun. But I mean,
That's right.
kind of going off. Yeah. Anyways, what are some of the like the biggest lessons that you've learned by yourself, like learning through trial and error or trial and failure, and then trial and success? Like how, like what are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned through that?
Money management.
Oof, that's a big one.
So it's really weird how I started with money and how my future ended up with it and all that stuff. But as a kid, I was very good at spending money. Or I mean very good at saving
Spending
money.
money. Yeah, we're all good at spending money.
Sorry. I don't know why, but well, actually I do know why. My mom would give me $5 every day for lunch because you could buy lunch at school, and you could refill your card at school, whatever, blah blah blah. But what I didn't tell my mom, and I don't want people to think I'm a thief and I'm some piece of shit because I technically worked for it, but I didn't tell my mom that like I signed up for dishwashing duties at school. So dishwashers get free lunch. So every day I got to save $5
And still get lunch.
and still get lunch. So for what was it, 7th and 8th grade, 2 years, 2 full years of like school years, I got free lunch, but I got $5 every day for like a school year. And I saved up a shit ton of money because sometimes my mom would give me like 10, be like, she's like, oh, just, save it and use it for some other day. And then like, if I'll just be like, oh, I need lunch money again because, whatever. Or like, like sometimes I'll be like, hey, can I get like $20? I'm going to go out with friends. And I didn't tell her, oh, I have like $400 saved up anyways. I don't want to use my money. I'm saving. But I was really good at saving until I moved to Indiana. Once I moved to Indiana, that's when, we ended up living close to our cousins, and we just always went out and had fun. And we just spent it and spent it. There was one time I spent $800 on paintball guns, and we had to return it because our parents got pissed off that we bought paintball guns. And like there was like a huge like commotion. Like I ran away from home, or ran away, quote, ran away. I went to my cousin's house.
Just down the street.
Yeah, because I was like, I can live my life how I want it. It's my money. I saved up for it. And then, I smacked myself. I was like, stop spending money, stop blowing money on this. And I started saving again because I started working at my parents' store, at my cousin's store, and I saved like a shit ton of money because like we weren't like, me and Kevin were like best friends. We always hung out. But the thing is, we were both gamers. We never went out. We played games all the time. So like we're working constantly and just saving up all this money. And all we did when we went out was go to the gym, game, sleep, work, and whatever. So like we never spent our money, and we had a shit ton of money, and college hit. Like the first 2 years when I went to IUN, the little sister branch, brother branch, whatever you want to call it. I paid that out of my own pocket because it was a cheap tuition because compared to fucking the Big Ten school. But so I was like, whatever, that's fine. I still have a shit ton of money that I can, I'm spending money. I'm still working because I live at home. I don't pay rent or anything. And then I moved to fucking Bloomington. That's when I paid rent. I bought my own food. I had to, pay my own gas constantly because I'm driving everywhere. And then the bars. Ugh.
The bars.
The bars. That's where it killed me. All I did was drink, no matter fucking what. And food. Oh my god. All I do is drink and eat when I was a fucking student. So money was hard, and then, but I still got allowance from my mom because she was like, oh, it's still our responsibility, blah blah blah. And they felt bad because I did pay my own part when I first went to IUN. But once I lived on my own, that's when things got a little bit harder because I was very bad at money or budgeting, because that's when my parents kind of stopped helping me because, I branched off on my own. I should be doing my own thing. I had a job. I had a good job. I still love my job and everything. But I ended up getting a dog, which I didn't calculate properly. I didn't realize dogs are going to be expensive as shit.
Especially your dog.
Especially my fucking dog. And
I mean, your wolf. You got a pet wolf.
I got a pet idiot. And, she seeped a lot of fucking money out of me.
I've heard the stories. It's a lot.
My god. Oh. Like I'm just waiting for my apartment to do a quick sweep with my lease ends. They're gonna be like, oh, that's a lot of money. But yeah, money management was tough to learn on my own. Luckily, like I said earlier, people from work helped me, and like Brooke, big shout out to Brooke. She gave me her budget sheet and she's like, "Here, just, base it off of this, but just, tweak a few numbers because it's not the same, obviously." And that helped a lot. And the fact that I've never gone grocery shopping on my own for almost a year. That's nice. But I mean, that helped me become like stable until like something bad happens. Like I get a flat tire, I gotta get that replaced. Money is a big part of life. Everyone knows that. And ask your parents for help when you need it. Like especially like learning about it. Because schools won't teach that to you.
They don't teach you
Unless
that
like
at
you're
all, man.
right. Unless like you're like specifically geared towards that, like some kind of financial class. Like I learned a little from like my class, but nothing compared to like life.
Yeah, I learned how to, again, like what we said in the past. I think I've learned to write a check, and I've learned to invest in the stock market. Writing checks has become archaic, and no one writes fucking checks anymore. And
I don't own a checkbook.
wow, I don't even know where mine is. It's somewhere around here. And the second thing is I don't invest in the stock market because I don't have enough money to invest in the stock market. Like people have like those Robinhood apps and Acorn apps and whatever, but eh,
I need the money now.
yeah, I need the money now. Like I need to pay off my credit cards because no one taught me how to use credit cards. Like I'm very much in the same situation as you where I think financially, yes, I did have I had some guidance from my parents about how to use money and what money was. But the thing is, they never really taught me like the things that I know right now. They didn't teach me how to budget. They tried to, I guess, but they were so frustrated with their own budgets that they didn't want to deal with mine. So learning budgeting and money management on my own was also something that I did, and I had to learn it really fast because, like you, I left home. I went to Georgia for a year, and I was there pretty much completely by myself, and I screwed up a lot there, for sure. For sure, I screwed up a lot. I mean, I racked up a little bit more credit card debt than I thought I was going to. I didn't make as much money as I thought I was going to, and it was just hard. So like learning that on the fly, especially when you're living paycheck to paycheck, is so difficult. It's so difficult.
It really is. I'm so lucky that I have a sugar mama. Ashley, big shout out to you. They like luckily like I went into this relationship like telling her the full truth, like, oh, I don't have money, like don't expect anything. Like, and I'll do as much as I can for her when I can. But she knows that I'm not like just oozing money out. And luckily she accepts that. And like she helps me out whenever I need it. Like she gave me gas money yesterday. I'm so happy.
Oh, very nice. I mean, I'm kind of in the same way. Like, I mean, kind of, sort of. I think I'm mooching off of Esther definitely when it comes to living expenses because we don't have any living expenses. Like I said
Yeah.
previously, Esther, yeah, Esther and I, we live in the residence halls at the university we work at, so we don't have to spend money on gas because we don't have a commute, and we don't spend money on rents or utilities. So we've been trying to save money and paying off a lot of our credit card debts. So I mean, we're trying. It's hard. It's definitely difficult, but
It is. But we're adults. Yay.
yay.
Yay for being fucking adults.
Another topic that I realized that we had to learn by ourselves was relationships, specifically romantic relationships.
Oh, definitely.
I think that's a huge thing. I mean, yeah, you only see the surface of what your parents show you. You don't know like like all of the arguments. You don't know any of like the power, not the I guess the power trips. I guess that's the best way I can put it. Does that make sense? Like we don't see that stuff.
I mean, I saw a lot of it growing up. My dad he drank a lot when my brother and I were younger, and like my parents fought all the time. My mom hated when he drank because he would leave and not come home for like the next day and everything. It got to the point where we had to call our grandma. My grandma was waiting for him and like beat the shit out of him the next day. It was like the funniest thing in the world. Like, it was funny seeing my dad on his knees, like crying to his mom. I was like, "How do you feel? Like, this is what you do to us." Like, it was like, it's not funny. This is a serious matter, but
I don't know, man. You the way that you did it was kind of funny over the video chat. So
but yeah, my parents fought all the time, and like they weren't afraid to do it in front of us. And I mean, there was one time that kind of ended the whole fighting. My dad laid his hands on my mom in front of me and my brother, and my dad was a little bit drunk, and I guess I mean he wasn't thinking properly, obviously, because he didn't realize that me and my brother saw it, because he also didn't realize that my ass tackled his ass on the ground. He almost broke his fucking hip. But I tackled my dad, and I straight up yelled at him along with my brother, like, don't you ever lay a hand on my mother. If you do that, like, we'll hurt you. Cause like my dad's fragile. You see my dad. My dad's fragile.
yeah, your dad's not a big guy.
But like I could like literally like pin him down with one hand. Like he is tiny. But after that, like he realized that like his sons aren't gonna like take this anymore. And then again, I think I mentioned it before, but my brother, I don't know why the fuck he said this, but his dumbass said, "Y'all fight again one more time. I'm gonna take Andrew and join a gang." I was like at the moment, like the heat of the moment, I didn't know what was going on, and I was like, "Yeah." And then when I like sat back and thought about what he said, I was like, "Wait, I don't want to join a fucking gang. Like, how the hell are you gonna take me in with you? I don't want to go with you." And then my dad, he never laid a hand on my mom again after that. But then after I moved to Indiana, after my dad getting bankrupt and struggling financially, that's when like things got frustrating again, and my dad and mom would fight again. And then the thing that ultimately stopped my parents from fighting was me, kind of, because there was one time my dad yelled at my mom in front of my face, and I couldn't take it anymore because my dad was yelling for literally no reason. My mom made the cabbage too soggy, and my dad was just having a really bad day, and he was drinking, and he yelled at her, and I couldn't take it. I was like, "Don't do that!" Like I was screaming, and like I went out to my balcony, and I started punching our brick wall, and came back with bloody hands. Like it ripped. Like you could like my fists are still bruised till this day because of it, and it's scarred now. My dad saw that. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "This is what you make me do every time you yell at mom. Like that's how I feel. How frustrating it is." And ever since then, I haven't really heard them fight. Like they'll bicker, like every married couple, but like they've never argued anymore. Ever since they realized how much it's hurting like their kids. Because at that point, it got to the point where my mom said, "Pack your bags, we're leaving him." And I told that's when like I went outside. I was like, "No," and I started punching the wall like, I'm mad, I'm depressed anyways." And it's not funny, but
I mean, looking back at it, like there is like I don't want to like there are funny elements to it, but in the heat of the moment, of course, it's not that funny. But when you look back, you're like, what the hell was I thinking, kind of thing.
like you said, like I've seen all that, but I've never seen love and affection. And I've mentioned it before that my dad has never told me that he loved me. My mom's never said it either. Like she'll say it jokingly. Like she's never said it to me seriously. And I told you that me and my dad recently started like hugging. My mom still gives me that little half-ass like, you're a good friend.
Like a side hug. That side hug.
Yeah, like a little side hug, like at the same time, like get the fuck off me kind of hugs. um, but that's the kind of relationships and like the things that I've seen from my parents. So I really had nothing to go off of. And I really had to learn it on my own. And there's no way that I could. I mean, I tell my parents all the time, like if I'm like interested in a girl, like recently, like in the past like few years, I'll be like, "Ooh, I like a girl." And then when I broke up my last girlfriend, my parents knew I was depressed, and they're like, "Are you depressed?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm depressed." They're like, "Why?" I was like, "I broke up with my girlfriend." And like they know, and like I'm excited to introduce them to Ashley, and yeah, my parents can't really give me the only thing they say is that, they're very supportive of anyone that I choose to bring home. And they like my mom tells me all the time, they're like, I don't care what race they are. I don't care if they're rich or poor. If you love her, that's fine. I will support you. But just make sure you're happy. Like that's very supportive of my mother. And I never expected my mom to say that. But when she did say that, I was like, oh my God, I didn't know you could say stuff like that. Ah. And then my dad is usually just like out of the loop all the time. And I remember my last girlfriend, we were talking about her at the dining table, and my dad's like, "You have a girlfriend?" I was like, "Yeah, we've been dating for a year." Like I've mentioned it plenty of times. He's like, "Huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, she's Chinese. She's Chinese." Like my dad's just constantly out of the loop, and like there's no way that I don't tell him because like I stayed in the dining table when we're all having dinner and stuff. And then my mom's like, like I've known about this from the start. And my mom's like, and my dad's like, how come you never tell me this stuff? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, probably because you drink every night and you just forget it. Like, you idiot. But yeah, all of it's pretty much me just watching a lot of dramas, being a nice guy. I don't know. I'm just a nice person, I feel like. And that, like, my personality is what helps me pretty much.
Learn about the relationships.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's like I noticed that I picked up a lot of the way that I show my affection is not a lot like my parents. I don't think. But I've noticed that I fight a lot like my parents, and I don't like that. My dad's incredibly stubborn, and my mom's very passive, and I happen to have both when I argue, and it's really really annoying to me as well. Like I've been working on it. You can ask Esther. Like I've been trying to be less passive. I've been more direct and forward with my feelings, but it's still like a conscious effort that I have to make. So I definitely learned that from my parents, and then trying to break that habit, trying to break a habit of 25 years worth of passive aggressiveness is like one of the hardest things ever, and that's like the biggest thing that I've been like dealing with recently when it comes to like my arguments and my relationships and my romantic relationship specifically. Yeah, I mean, being passive aggressive is like innate to me right now, and it's like so hard to break that habit.
I'm still waiting for the day me and Ashley fight or argue.
I mean, you guys
Like
are
we
what, like 2 months in,
uh 3.
3? It usually hits around 6.
No, but like me and her, we talk about it all the time. We're like, I can't wait for our first argument. Like I like me and her are so stupid. We're like, I wonder what it's gonna be about.
No, I was the same way. I was the same way with Esther. I'm like, "Oh, I wonder what our first fight is gonna be," and she's and then she would say the same thing. But then in my head, I'm like, why are we talking about this? Like, why do we want to know what our first fight is gonna be? I don't even remember what our first fight was. I think I remember it's probably something stupid.
I'll probably remember what our fight is, and I'll let you know what we argue about. But I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm emotionally scarred that like I'm so afraid to upset her that like I let her just if she's like if she tells me to do something like I do it without even hesitation. And like I'm fine with it too. It's like, haha, I didn't make her upset. Like I'm scared to like upset her. And
Wappa.
no, it's not even like she tells me like you don't have to like you know how you just like what pod me like I grabbed that whip from her hand and what pod myself. And like that's like I don't know it's weird like I'm scared to like I'm emotionally scarred.
I think just a little bit, just a little bit,
Just just a little bit,
just a
but
smidge.
just a smidge. But like luckily like she's not someone that walks all over me. She lets me have my own opinion. SOS best friend save me.
Honestly, honestly, like I want to say it's the same on my end, but I think it's different because Esther grew up as an only child.
Ugh.
And do you
Ugh.
remember? I was listening to that episode. I was listening to the episode recently. It was the episode we were talking about going to the movie theater alone.
Yeah.
And she said like she doesn't have to share her food. She can look at her phone. And we're like, oh, you just selfish. That's what you said. Those were your exact words.
You just fucking selfish.
I've noticed that that's kind of true, even in our relationship. And it's hard to get past that sometimes.
Yeah.
Because like you, like for me is if If Esther says she's tired or if Esther says she's hungry, I do everything that I can to get her into bed early or get her some fucking food.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I say it, it just kind of gets glossed over and she doesn't really listen. You know?
I yeah, I know what you mean. Well, I mean, not personally right now because if I do that, she like Ashley just straight up goes like, "Oh, baby, do you want me to go get you some food, or you want me to go make you?" Like we're still, I guess,
I
like
wish that was the same here or if that happened here, but like, I tell Esther like, "Hey, listen, I'm hungry. I'm going to be cranky. Can we get some food?" Just like doesn't even register.
"Mm."
And then when I get angry and I start yelling at her and being cranky, she gets mad at me because I'm being cranky. And I'm like, "Well, I told you 20 minutes ago that I'm hungry, but we haven't made a stop to go get food anywhere yet." You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't get hangry a lot.
Oh, I do. I
I don't
do.
get hangry. I don't get tired angry, and because like if I'm tired, I sleep. If I'm hungry, I eat. Because like I've lived on my own before too. It's like, and I always offer like, "Hey, I'm making something. Do you want something?" She'll be like, "No," or "Yeah," and like I have no problem with it.
No, I have no problem with that either for sure, but the thing is like with working full time and then trying to keep together a household and like getting dog stuff ready and stuff, there's not a lot of time to like sit down, make a meal, and eat the meal. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I
sometimes, like
guess.
especially like nowadays, like the all like the grocery stores close at 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
So like you have to run out right after work to get groceries and stuff. So by that time, I'm starving. And when you're traveling a lot, like you don't have food in your backpack at all times and stuff. So, anyways, I digress. I think that's like one of the biggest things that I'm learning is like being more assertive and being more forward with my feelings. And that's the kind of thing that I learned by myself compared to like my parents. Like my mom is still passive aggressive as hell, and it's really, really freaking annoying sometimes. I think the other day, like not the other day, but like a couple months ago, we were talking and I'm like, "Mom, you're pissing me off with your passive aggressiveness. I can't talk to you anymore." And I literally just hung up and I was like, "Nope, not talking to her."
Jesus.
Because I know that if she was going to continue that, I would have gotten angry and it would just gotten worse. And I was like, "You know what? Don't want to talk to you. I'm going to go. Bye."
Oh man, I can't do that. I worry about my parents way too much. So like it's like, oh my, like I'm such a mama's boy and such a dad. I'm such a parent's boy. I'm such a baby. Like, and I get babied by them so much, and like I'll act all like, "Ooh, take care of me" in front of them all the time, and
Well, I
like
mean, I think that's okay with you because you're the magnet or you're the youngest.
I'm the youngest,
You
yeah.
kind of have that. You kind of have that sense of like I can be babied all the time because you're the youngest. Like I'm the oldest and I don't have that at all. Like I don't have that kind of feeling or that emotion at all when it comes to my parents.
I think what grants that for me is because my parents know I'm the only one that's struggling in our family. They feel bad for me. It's out of pity, my friend. It's not even, "Oh, he's Magne, he's the youngest." It's just, "Oh god, I feel bad for this bastard. I bet you he didn't eat today." Like, that's the situation I'm in. So, like, they literally baby me out of pity.
Oh, that's so sad.
I'll take it. I don't care. They don't know I'm living like a fucking king right now with my girlfriend. Well, actually, my mom does. I told her I moved in with my
Oh
girlfriend.
yeah, and what'd she say?
She said, "Good luck. Don't don't do what Pouty did and get her pregnant." I was like, "I won't."
I mean, that's some good advice. That's some good advice.
But yeah, I don't know. I can never see myself just hanging up on mom. My mom, like, I always have to be like, "Okay, bye." I always have to at least say, "Bye. I'll talk to you next time." Like, I can't just hang up on her.
I mean, I don't okay. I don't think I don't remember if I hung up on her like just straight up like just like I'm done talking to you and then just hang up. I think I said
One of those
bye.
flip phones, like,
But like the what is it yeah, the one of the like the clapping things. Yeah, no, I didn't do that. I think I said bye. I'm like, "Mom, if I keep talking to you, I'm gonna get angry. I don't want to get angry. Bye." And I just hung up.
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "I'm done. I can't deal with this anymore." Dude, it's like one of those, it's like you kind of build up a you kind of like after a while and after you continually talk to your parents, you realize that there's a pattern. You realize that you talk about certain things, and that if your mom or your dad says this one thing in a certain way, you just know like, okay, I think an argument is coming. It's like in Supernatural where like the demonic omens, like those omens happen.
Oh,
It's kind
yeah.
of like the same thing for me. Like I can map out and be like, okay, there's an argument coming here. I don't want to deal with it, so I'm just gonna cut it off right now.
That's so different from my family. Because my dad would never, like, argue with me anymore. Only again, I think it's a lot of pitying going around in my end. Like, my both my parents never wanna argue with me, especially, during the whole, corona thing when it was, booming with the whole unemployment. Like, yeah, me and my parents argued, but then, they were, trying to justify their argument by saying, "Oh, we heard it from the Korean radio," and I straight up shut them down saying, "Nah, that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Don't believe them because obviously they're fucking wrong because I'm doing yours right now." And they just stop immediately because they know that if I get too pissed, I'm not gonna do it for them. And then they get worried. They're like, "Omo, Omo, do you need to do this? I need you to do this." And then they know if I get pissed off, I won't do it. So they just like, "Okay, okay, that's they just like let it go.
So you have some leverage in your conversations with your parents.
I got leverage because I do everything for them.
I have no leverage whatsoever. The only leverage that I have is my mental, intellect, my intellect, and it's not a lot of leverage. I gotta say, it's not a lot of leverage.
I mean, I guess that's like a benefit of the way we grew up. Like,
Oh yeah,
I had a lot of leverage because, even in school, you remember parent teacher conferences?
yeah.
My parents didn't understand a lick of word the teachers were saying, not one time. And the funny part was, I always got to go to my brother's parent teacher conference, and I got to go to mine with them, and my brother would be there too. Blah blah blah. But the biggest difference was my parents kind of understood my brothers. Only because my brothers was the same all the time. He's a bad student. He's a bad student. He did this, and then I would constantly be explaining to my mom what he did because they understood bad or in trouble, but they didn't understand the reason. So I got to explain all that to them. And then when they went to mine, they're like, "Oh, Andrew's such a sweetheart. He's such a quiet boy." And then they're like, "What the hell he said?" And they said, they said I'm fine. And they're like, "Oh, okay, okay, okay." Like my brother's parent teacher conferences always took long because they were explaining so many things. And mine was so quick because they're like, "Oh, he's such a good student, blah, 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 blah." And then my parents laugh about it all the time. They're like, "Remember how different your parent teacher conferences were?" And then I was always the one explaining to them. I guess even if I did do something bad or if my brother did something bad, I could have been like, "Oh, he's fine." Like I had a lot of leverage growing up.
Yeah, I didn't have that leverage. I still don't have that leverage. I mean, I guess I'll be like, I'm withholding grandchildren when we get married, but I don't even think that would matter because I have 3 other siblings that they can get grandchildren from eventually.
Yeah.
But I think that's the only leverage I have, and I don't have a lot of leverage. I think a lot of my arguments is always based on intellect and personal experience, and that's why I kind of lose on that a lot because my parents have a lot more personal experience than I have because they're older.
You said intellect and personal. Just my parents don't got the intellect because they don't know what's going on. Because they come to me to figure out what's going on, and I'm their source of information.
See, that's not me at all. Like for me, it's just like my parents come to me and they're like saying like this and this. I'm like, no, that's wrong. And they're like, no, I heard it from CNN. I'm like, well, CNN is bullshit, but it's not.
My parents' only backup thing is I heard from the Korean radio. I was like, quit listening to that stupid ass radio. Y'all getting fucking wrong information all the fucking time. Fucking I'm sick and tired of hearing you guys say, "Oh, I heard it from the fucking Korean radio." I don't give a damn. Oh man, I'm probably gonna call my parents after this episode just to check up on them. Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of different things that we've learned like by trial and error, trial failure, trial success, and our parents. And I don't know. I feel like even if you think that you didn't learn a lot about anything from your parents, you still did learn because
Oh, of course, of
because
course.
like because you had to do everything for your parents, you knew a little bit more on what to do later in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's just like I kind of had to learn it by myself because my parents were like, go do it yourself because you should learn how to do it by yourself. And I'm like, well, can't you help me? And they're like, no, we don't want to.
But we will if you desperately need it. Like we'll be there for you if you need it.
Yeah, but even then, they're just like, figure it out.
Yeah. Like, good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
For me, it was you gotta learn it because we don't know it and we need to learn it too. Oh, I remember I had to set up my parents' healthcare system.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I had no idea like I was in sophomore year of high school. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I was like, healthcare? What? And then like I tried and tried for like a day or two and I gave up. And like they ended up going to like my aunt or like some other like Korean person,
Mm-hmm.
like a professional Korean person to do it. But then like I got to learn a little bit.
What's an amateur Korean person then compared to a professional Korean person?
Well, no, I'm just saying like who had like a job in like healthcare and like that spoke Korean,
Oh, okay.
and compared to like me, an amateur.
Yeah, I was like, what's the difference between a professional Korean and an amateur Korean?
I'm the amateur. I give up. I don't like. I don't know. Go listen to your Korean radio. Figure out how to do it yourself. But then, like I got to learn a little bit of like the procedures of it and stuff like that, and I learned what like our healthcare provider like provided,
Mm-hmm.
and I realized it didn't provide shit for us because this was like when the whole Obama thing was going on, and like you
Oh,
needed
Medicare,
healthcare.
like Medicare, Medicaid.
Yeah, or unless you get fined. And like so like my parents went with like the cheapest one. They're like, we don't need it. We never go to the hospital anyways. Like fucking Christ. Like my mom took me to an acupuncture for a fucking fractured back muscle or whatever. I fractured my backbone and my muscles got all bruised and everything. She took me to fucking acupuncture. I got needles stuck in my fucking foot, and she's like, "Oh, that'll fix your back. We don't got the fucking money to go to a hospital. Fucking walk it off, you idiot." And like it's so bad because like I recently had a back injury and it acted up and I couldn't go to work for 2 days. And thinking it's like, oh, what a fucking quickie dink. It's the same fucking spot that it like got injured when I was a fucking freshman in football.
Wait, you mean like the needles in your foot didn't help, heal your back?
It fucking relaxed me and I fell asleep there for the day. But as soon as I woke up, it hurt again. But then my mom's like, no, I heard from TV, 한국 방송, that if you do this, it helps you feel better. It's like if you fucking heard it from the Korean fucking news, it's got to be true. And I swear, my parents think everything they hear from like another Korean person is the truth. They won't question it without a doubt in their mind.
My mom is like that with like any kind of news that she finds on the internet.
You know what's the most annoying thing that my mom does?
Mm.
She when she's cooking, she's cooking this like full on meal and like it's so greasy because like Koreans you need to like cook it in grease because and then I told my mom, I was like, Mama, you gotta pat this dry. This is so greasy. I'm not eating this. She's like, no, it's good for it's good for you. It's like, who the fuck told you that bullshit? Like I saw it on Hanguk cooking channel. That, like if you eat this grease and cook it in this grease, it's good for your body. Hey, stupid ass bitch. No, it's not. I can bet you every dollar I got in my goddamn bank account that this is bad for your ass. And then she'd be like, no. I heard it from Ajumma at church. I fucking hate when they try saying, oh, Ajumma's in church no more.
No, and it's the same thing. Like my grandma would like give us food, cook us food, and like she would like leave it at our house. My dad would eat it, and he'd be sick for like 3 days. Like seriously. And then my mom would like open up the container of food, and then my dad would be like, "Don't eat it, don't eat it." Like
Oh
she
my
like puts like the
god.
weirdest stuff and like yukejang and stuff and like Korean dishes that are like just prepared really funky.
Oh, I hate when my mom like tries saying like, "Oh, I heard it from this. Oh, someone from church did this.
I heard
They
this from a
recommended it."
Kwanzaa at church and it has to
Yeah,
be true. It's like, no.
so fucking stupid. Oh man. I mean, I guess that's one. I don't know what I was gonna say something, but I just lost track.
Sometimes I'll start a sentence, and I don't even know where it's going. I just hope I find it along the way.
You know,
We've
it's
used
been a
that.
lot of those.
We've used that soundbite 3 times in this podcast.
Yeah. It's already 9 o'clock, dude.
It is. It's getting a little late.
But oh, I don't know. I think like again, it had its perks and again downfalls of not growing up with parents around me. Um, but I don't know. I think I turned out fine.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're both in the same boat. We both came from very different nuclear family households and we came out decent decent human beings, I think.
Yeah. You know what I need to thank for that? My dad beating the shit out of me.
Me too.
Well, I want to say disciplining me, but no, that man beat the shit out of me. He didn't give a damn.
My dad didn't do it a lot. I think he maybe like once or twice, but I for sure deserved them because if you're a teenager going through puberty, you're an asshole.
You are an asshole. I was an asshole.
Like both girls and boys, we're both assholes when we go through puberty. It's like the worst. And
Actually, I was not an asshole. I take that back.
I was a moody little bitch.
I wasn't because all I ever did was go home and play games or go outside and have fun with my friends. Again, like that's the difference. Like my parents weren't around my teenage years because I was always out doing stuff. And I don't think I ever gave them like I mean there was every once in a while when I would want to go outside and like if it was like it was reasonable for them to be dicks about their decisions like it's fucking 3 in the morning why are you coming back it's like "Oh, I don't know sorry and then like I'd be an asshole I guess for that perspective but I feel like everything I did and everything they did like there was like reasons behind it and no like I guess that's a perk of not having parents around growing up like you could do what the fuck you want to do and they won't really say shit because all I have to say is like, well, "Are you around to stop me?" You're like, "No."
Yeah. My mom was always around.
She
Or
was
my grandma.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, my grandma was always around, but like, what's my grandma gonna do? All like my grandma, yeah, my grandma raised me most of my childhood, but it was more like she would just make sure I was alive and made me food. Because like yeah, my grandma's old. Like she's not like she's gonna chase us down the fucking street like if we're doing something bad. Like my grandma would be like, "Oh, Chuna, oh, you came home from school. Let me make you some food. I love you." And it's like, "Oh, thanks, grandma. I love you too."
And you would eat, play games, or go out and play with your friends.
Yeah, and like the big difference between that was my grandma lived in Chicago and she rode the bus to our house every day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so like I mean she was a senior citizen. She had like a free bus pass.
Yeah.
So like it was like only like 2 bus changes, and it just came straight to like our like right in front of our house.
Okay.
So that was the easy part about that. So like my grandma would come like really early in the morning, like as soon as like me and my brother go to school, and she would be there throughout the day, just house sitting, making sure everything's good, and it gave her a chance to like see her grandkids and her son and her daughter-in-law, and by the time like me and my brother come back from school like we say hi. My brother rebelled against her. My brother was an asshole. He had a big moody fucking teenage year. He was all ghetto. He thought he was cool. He's Doug. He wanted to be a DJ. I'm listening to techno. I think like all day, every day. Like he was a big asshole, and like he knew that no one was gonna stop him too. Like that's the difference between me and my brother. Like I was a nice Christian boy. I love Jesus. Jesus loves me, and blah blah blah. And but as soon as like we come from school, my brother would be like, piss off, grandma. I'm gonna go outside. Blah. and I would be like the good Christian boy, be like, "Oh, grandma, I love you. I'm hungry too because I'm fucking fat." But like, I mean, yeah, that's the main reason I'm fucking fat and I'm hungry. But my grandma made some bomb ass food. But I mean, pretty much after we ate, like she would dip. She'd be like, "Okay, Juna, I see you tomorrow." I go to the bus stop. That's like it. And then as soon as like she's gone, like I go out, play, do my own thing, or go downstairs, play video games.
Did not have that. Nope.
Man, my brother was an asshole. Now that I'm thinking about it, he was a fucking asshole. My mom had to pick him up from jail once.
What?
Did I ever tell you that?
No.
My brother, his little thug ass friends, his stupid ass, he got sent to prison once because there was this one kid that talked shit to everyone. You know, like even he even tried talking shit to me once, and then he realized who I was, and then he stopped immediately because I told him who my brother was, and he backed off. But this guy, like, it was 1 against 7. My brother and 6 other of his friends. Fuck, it was a bloodbath, man. Like, this one kid talked shit to everyone in that group, and I guess he just struck a chord finally. And my brother jumped his ass with his friends. Like, straight up jumped his ass. Curb stomping this kid. This kid went to the hospital and everything. All I think a couple of his friends, like my brother, his close friend at the time, and like another buddy, they all got arrested. My mom had to send a pastor from church to pick my brother up because she was at work. So a fucking pastor from our church picked up my brother from jail. So my brother's like, "Who the fuck are you?" And my mom had to she had to like call my brother like, "Hey, I'm not picking you up. Someone from church."
You never told me that story.
Well, I mean, it's embarrassing knowing that my dumbass brother went to jail. But yeah, fucking curb stomped this poor kid. And then that one kid came up to me one day and like he was like talking shit. I was like, "You know who my brother is, right? I know who you are. I heard stories about you." I was like, "My brother's Paul Chung," and he backed away. He's like, "Never mind, goodbye." I mean, I guess that was a good thing about having a brother that was like well known, like for being a thug. I guess fucking people like they didn't fear me, but like like they kept their distance if like they were like bad kids or something. Like, they knew that my brother was Paul. And they knew that Paul don't fuck around. He'll fucking curb stomp your ass. And, like, Paul always hung out with, like, shady kind of kids. I guess that was his path that he took compared to me. Like, I stuck with the playing video games and eating every day and, being happy and fat. My brother took I'm going to go with the drug dealers and rebel. I'm cool. Like the big difference between me and my brother. Luckily, I didn't go down that path with him, because he did some stupid shit growing up. He went egging and TPing at Halloween. I fucking hate those kind of people.
Yeah.
A fucking dumbass came home one Halloween and needed to get a new phone because he accidentally threw his phone at the house instead of a fucking egg and it broke. He comes home all pissed off. He's like, "I gotta get a new phone." I was like, "What the fuck happened to your phone?" He's like, "I fucking threw it at someone's house."
I'm sorry, but that's like one of the most Paul things I've ever heard in my life.
Like, it's so stupid. And, like, there was one time he went to fucking Six Flags and like he was riding it and he's like, he saw a phone fall and he's like, "Ha ha, someone's fucking phone fell, you fucking idiot." And then his friend was like, "Isn't that your phone?" And he checked his pocket. "Oh shit, my phone." Oh, my brother's a fucking idiot.
But now he's a father of 2.
Now he's a father of 2 to my beautiful nephews. Who yes, he finally grew up and he's an awesome dad. He's an awesome brother.
So a different strokes for different folks. Like, he definitely raised
Right.
himself.
He raised himself. He's street smart. Street smart.
We should have like a pad for that, just
Street smart.
I'll make it.
But yeah. He turned out okay too, and he changed. Well, he was forced to change because
Yeah. A kid will do that
Idiot.
to you.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the beginning, like, yeah, I mean, Andrew and I have gone through a lot of different things, especially in our lives, and there are a lot of things that you're going to have to learn on your own. There are a lot of things that you're going to fail at. You're going to try it, you're going to fail at it, but just know that it's not always going to be the end of the world.
I'm gonna be so bad.
That's what she said.
Ooh.
Did you make it?
Yes, I did.
Did you wash your hands?
Yes, with soap.
Nice. Very nice. Okay. So going back, yes, Andrew and I have gone through a decent amount in our lives, I think. Not a whole lot, I don't think. There's still a lot that we are going to be experiencing. There's a lot of things that we still have to learn. And there are a lot of things that we're still learning. And there are differences to, being raised by your parents and being guided very heavily by your parents or any kind of guardian parental figure. But there's also a lot of things that if you learn by yourself and you learn on your own, you're going to kind of remember those a lot better. And I think if you're a person that's struggling and kind of going through hard times right now, just know that you're going to be taking something out of it. You're going to take a life lesson out of it. I mean, Andrew and I, when we went off on our own to Indiana and when I went off to my own in Georgia, there were a lot of mistakes that we made. There was a lot of rash decisions that we made that kind of didn't provide a great outcome later. But Andrew and I, we both kind of fought through it. We learned from it. We are trying not to make those same mistakes again. But just remember that all the hard times and even the good times out there that you have is going to be a learning lesson about how you wanted to continue on and being the person that you want to be in this life. So that's all I got to say about it. Andrew, do you have any other closing statements?
I think I'm kind of glad that my parents weren't there to guide me. I like who I am. I like the things I know, and it just shapes me to who I am.
Yep, and
I
I'm
like
exactly
it.
the same way too. I mean, I think we both are really happy with one another. We're very happy with ourselves and the way that
I am
we've.
happy with you.
Yeah, I'm happy with you too, best friend.
Sometimes I'll start a sentence, and I don't even know where it's going. I just hope I find it along the way.
No, but I was gonna say, like, I think learning from my mistakes, like you said, like it'll stick with you if you learn it on your own. I think especially like learning from a mistake, it'll like force you to not do that again.
And it'll force you to come to a conclusion and like an answer for yourself.
Yeah, and I think we all need that sometimes in our lives.
We all need to be kicked in the ass.
We all need to like fail to like succeed. There's no one person who ever just always succeeded. Everyone fails at something sometime in their lives, and it's not the end. I mean, unless it is the end. Oh my god,
That just
too far.
don't make those decisions that are life and death situations. Like
don't make
damn,
those decisions.
don't make those decisions. Like those are. Mm.
You need to make those kind of decisions like quick.
Yeah,
Like,
like,
ugh.
you got to be like, I want to live. I don't want to die. So please don't find yourself in one of those situations because
Street smarts. You want it? Go get it. Always carry a fucking money clip on you, kids. And if someone tries mugging you, fucking take the clip and whip it across the other way.
if you guys don't know where that's from, you guys have to watch John Mulaney on Netflix. I can't remember what special that was. Is that Radio or Kid Gorgeous?
I know it's not new in town. I think it's the one where he like the comeback kid.
Oh, is it? Hi, editing JD, just kind of sneaking in here a little bit. So we said that the John Mulaney quote that we're talking about came from John Mulaney's special, The Comeback Kid. That is actually incorrect. I was right the first time, and that quote is actually from his special called Kid Gorgeous. So I was right, Andrew is wrong, and he can't do anything about it because I'm the one that's editing this. So screw you, Andrew.
But yeah.
But I want to thank you guys for taking a listen to this episode. And this episode was kind of all over the place. I will admit that it wasn't as focused as our previous ones, but I felt like, this is just kind of like an uplifting episode that we just kind of wanted to talk about and really have like an overall theme and kind of just running with it. So thank you for kind of dealing with our sporadic conversation topics. And yeah, I mean, if you guys have any questions about, anything that we said or anything that we have released in the past, Andrew, where can they find us? How can they reach out to us?
They can reach us at upuntilnowpodcast@gmail.com with any questions or any comments. And if you guys do want to see some dank photos that my best friend always posts on our Instagram, same handle, Up Until Now Podcast, feel free to follow that account and our separate accounts, mine and JD's personal accounts. We try to update it as much as we can. And the podcast account, I don't touch my Instagram. Oh, but yeah, feel free to message us there if you have any questions. And, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. It really helps us get out there in the world. Maybe some people need it, and maybe someone just wants to laugh at our stupid topics and conversations. Who knows? But let us know how we're doing. If you don't like something, let us know. We'll try to improve it. We want to do this podcast for you guys too, along with ourselves. Anything to help things go a little bit more smoother.
We want to thank Eric for letting us use the music that we've been using for our podcast, and you've been hearing it since like episode 5. So we've been using his music a lot. So give a shout out to Eric. All of his links can be found in our link tree on Instagram. They're at the bottom. Both his SoundCloud and Instagram account. The handle name is ch.tunes. It is ch.tunes. So please give a follow and take a listen to his music. And if you decide to use his music as well, he does allow you guys to download his music on SoundCloud. So if you guys do that, just give him a shout out. Being there to support local artists would be great. And we also want to reach out, and if you guys have any music or any like graphic design background and you guys want to make us something or like create something for us, please let us know and just send it to our email address, because we would love to sponsor and really support our local artists out there, because I don't know, we're great content creators. So
and if you guys want to hear us talk about like a certain topic, feel free to message us a topic, and we'll try to, if we don't know anything about it, we'll try studying up on it, like the Black Lives Matter. And if we do have some experience on it, we'll give you our experience on it, and maybe we'll laugh about it and have a good time.
Thank you guys for taking a listen to this episode of our podcast. Please let us know if you guys have any topics that you guys want us to talk about, because we're kind of running low a little bit. So if you guys would like to reach out, please do at the handles and locations that Andrew has, graciously informed us about. And with all that being said, we thank you for taking a listen, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.